What is up, you guys? It's Rob here. Today we're going to be going over ticker symbol AMC. We'll be covering on the daily, weekly, and monthly time frame in anticipation for tomorrow's trading day, May 11th. We'll cover the short interest via Ortex. We'll cover the short interest also via Stonko tracker. Gosh, I can't say that properly because Stonko Tracker has short ETFs in there. It also has a short rate bar fee along with the options volume, which is huge for AMC. But let's hop in here to the charts. But before we dive too deep into this, if you guys can drop a like down this video, hit that subscribe button, make sure that you're ringing that bell, blah, 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 for the YouTube algorithm. If you can, greatly appreciate it. Anyways, AMC. Today, we actually gapped up from about $9.40 to about $9.84, which is awesome. We opened the day at $9.90, saw our intraday high of $10.15, and then we saw our intraday low of $9.56, which is huge. The other thing that I really want to highlight is our first minute volume has been definitely very, very low. Today, we had 3.45 million shares traded within the first minute of trading of AMC, which is awesome. That shows that our volume's there, but our volume quickly evaporated throughout the rest of the day. And we only traded about 40 million shares the whole entire day. That's okay for me. It's definitely a lot higher than what we've been before, and we've definitely had a lot lower. So keep in mind, the other thing that I really just want to point out here on the chart is we respected 975 a lot today. We did break down the 956, we did reclaim 975, and we bounced off of it several times. You can see with these candle wicks how many times we bounced off of 975. We did break through it here, and then we retested it several times. Technically closest candle on it, so I'm not going to consider that a breakthrough. Got rejected again, closed it, closed on it, got back above it, claimed it as support, and then tested it again. And this is really what I'm looking for. This is what is good and healthy about this stock, is we're testing and seeing our levels of support within the stock. We're getting rejected, and then we're breaking through, and then we're testing level support to validate that it is a good level support. And this is exactly what we want to see out of this stock, is good, healthy growth. Now, the huge thing that I want to point out is we did gap up here this morning, and a lot of people say gaps need to be filled. I definitely do agree with you on that, and I do feel this gap was filled very well by having our intraday low here at 956. So personally, in my opinion, I consider that gap filled. And let's talk about this absolutely filthy rip here in the after hours. We hit 1090. Obviously overbought on the RSI, obviously overextended here on the MACD. We're sitting here just about neutral right now. The after hours are still going. It is currently 7:48 Eastern Standard Time when I am recording this video. So keep that in mind. Things might change between the time that I get this uploaded to YouTube and you guys are watching it. The other thing that I want to highlight here is we are on that ascending level of support. We do have a new trend. We are no longer in a bull flag. We have transitioned to a bear flag. And what that means is, for technical analysis, we're looking for a breakdown of this trend line. However, I don't want that. In my personal opinion, I don't want us to break down through this trend line. I want AMC to go to the moon. But from a technical analysis perspective, that is what people definitely look for. Now, the thing is, we did find our low here at 893, and then we've been stair-stepping ourselves up, which is what we need to do. I want us to have that slow stair-stepping growth versus this exponential growth, because what this will do is it will attract new investors. It will attract new people to the options contracts. And really what we need for this thing to actually squeeze is new investors and new people buying options contracts, because if we can get that, then this makes it all the more squeezable. We've been here, a lot of us have been here saying we're holding 400 or 500 shares kind of thing. Sally over here is holding 250. Joe over here is holding over 9,000 kind of thing. Like, a lot of us are holding a lot of shares. We just need new people to come in and invest within the company. And having a low implied volatility will make the options contracts a lot more attractive. And it definitely is very low. It's sitting about where it was right before the squeeze. But hey, I'm not going to complain about it. It is definitely very low and makes things very attractive. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. Nothing in here is financial advice. This is purely just my opinion. But if it were me, I'd be looking at buying a call option because we have very low implied volatility, and the implied volatility in an options contract is priced in through the Greek vega. So keep that in mind. That's where we're going to see implied volatility. So you can buy an options contract at a low implied volatility and sell it at a high implied volatility. And the price of that security will not have to move a penny. And you will see that contract move up in value because implied volatility went up. So keep that in mind. Buy low implied volatility, sell high implied volatility. Remember, not a financial advisor, not financial advice, but that's really how you're supposed to do it. But hopping out here to the 1 month time frame, you can see that we are repeating our patterns. So we did find our base back here, and we found a nice ascending level, and we're moving back upwards. What I'm looking for is us to move upwards and test a higher level of support up here. So we're not essentially making the same highs. We're making higher highs because it's what we want to make. We're making higher lows, which is good. But the next thing we need to do is make higher highs. So the huge thing I'm going to be looking for is when we break out above 1130, are we going to test 1222 and are we going to get rejected by 1222? Keep in mind these levels of supports and resistances can vary. It isn't on the exact penny. It can be within 5 cents plus or minus. So give it a little bit of a tolerance in there. But I'm going to be looking around 1222. What do we do with 1222? Do we get rejected by it like we did back here? Or can we get above it and close an hour candle, not a 30-minute candle, not a 5-minute candle, an hour candle above it, because that's what I would signify as we found support. I would want that. But really diving in here, taking a look at our moving averages. So I have the 15-day moving average on here, which is the orange line. The purple line is the 60-day moving average. And then the essentially very light purple line in here is the 200-day exponential moving average. These are all lagging indicators, so they do not indicate future price movement. They do indicate past movement and how we've moved in the past. Now, if we take a look here, we have the 15-day moving average crossing over the 60-day moving average sitting here on Friday. And then today we made the crossover actually really more towards after hours of the 200 exponential moving average, which puts the stock in a very bullish direction. And the more and more I look at this, where it's starting to form what I would believe to be is a bull pennant. So I'm just going to draw this here and draw it out here. Let's see what we would have to do, because this is from the top and this is our ascending level of support. So we have to do something within this range. Where are we going to settle is the main question. If we can settle at $10, I think that would honestly be the best thing for the stock, is we're settling at $10, which is that psychological and technical support, which we did validate that it is there. So keep that in mind. I'm looking for us to close at $10. If we did close down at $9.75, in my opinion, I wouldn't mind that, but I would much prefer us to close above $10 because that would definitely put us above that critical level of support. And tomorrow morning, we can open up the pre-market above $10 and absolutely just start running. The other thing I want to highlight here is our RSI sitting at 6370. So not only did we move up essentially 2.5% today, we also moved up almost 6% in after hours, and we did touch overbought on this candle of 1090. I'm not surprised here, but we did have a pullback, and we're sitting at 6337, which is amazing. We essentially had 7%, and we barely tested the RSI in overbought territory. That is huge. We do have an overextended MACD here. Going into close, actually, we did have the bullish crossover here. So if we did take a look at that, we would indicate a bullish momentum within the next day. Now let's hop out here to the day time frame and really take a look at this. So we do have that ascending level support. I'm going to actually delete this trend line here and then bring this down a little bit. So just to give it more of a flat curve, because with this ascending level support, we do want to make sure that we have 3 touch points. So one touch point being our most recent low, then Friday, and then today. And we do have 3 touch points, which is good. Now, the thing is, we need to continue going up this ascending level support. So just to highlight, we're going to be looking at 975. I mean, in the after hours, yes, we're well above this, but this chart really is only taking into account right now intraday trading. So 975, 984, and $10. If we get above, if we close the after hours above all of these supports, that is going to be very awesome. That is going to put us in definitely a bullish direction headed into tomorrow. Now, the next thing I would want to look is to the upside at 11:31 tomorrow. What are we going to do with 11:31? We're going to bounce off of it? Or are we going to just cut right through it like butter because our short rate borrow fee is so insanely high? Who knows? But we'll hop into that later. The other thing that we need to do is we need to get this trend reversal going here with this MACD. We did an awesome job today and on Friday of closing the gap here of the signal and the MACD on the day time frame. The huge thing that we need to do is bring this MACD more towards the equilibrium, bring the signal back down across the equilibrium, have them cross, get that day time frame bullish crossover. And if we can do that, we're cooking with Crisco, in my personal opinion. Thanks, Trey. I got that stuck in my head now. We do have our exponential 200-day exponential moving average sitting at 707. We do have our 60-day moving average sitting at 965, and then our 15-day moving average sitting at 998. We are trading above all three of those, which is a very bullish indicator for the stock. Now let's go over here and let's hop into Ortex and take a look at the short interest. Now this is going to look really confusing, but I'm going to name off every single indicator that I have on here for you guys. So the red trend line is the shares on loan. Just if you need to pause this video and just take a look at this chart, feel free to pause it. Just feel free. Red trend line, shares on loan. The blue line, which is right here, is indicating our exchange reported short interest. Keep in mind this is a lagging indicator, so it's only going to be giving us data from April 26th. The yellow trend line is the short interest of free float. The light, this is almost like a light cyan, is the days to cover on a 1 month time frame estimated off of our current short interest. And then this orange line is what's called CTB STD, which is the cost to borrow standard of all contracts. So all contracts currently outstanding, all ones returned, all ones that are brand new that have been taken out today. So I'm going by the standard. I'm not going by the max, because the standard is going to give us a roughly of where we're going to be sitting across the whole entire board, which is good. Overall, for our short interest for the day, it did jump 0.07%. So we are currently sitting at 23.76% short interest. Our short interest estimated right now is 99.23 million shares. And keep in mind, on April 26th, it was reported that 93.89 million shares were shorted. Our shares alone sitting at 153.12 million. Sorry, I can't get these numbers out of my mouth because this is literally just, I'm in awe right now. Our days to cover is sitting here at 1.68 million. Now, the reason, not 1.68 million, 1.68. Gosh, Rob, come on. But sitting here at 1.68. Now, this is not something that I'm going to go by anymore. Our days to cover right now, sitting here and looking at this, is sitting at 2.56 based off of the past month. So keep that in mind. So 2.56 based off of the past month of trading. Our cost to borrow is sitting at 16.15, which actually seems rather low to me, because when I take a look at the standard here, the CTB standard, which is this orange line, it says 29.98. Our utilization pegged at 100% maxed out. Now, to give you guys an idea, this line right here is when we squeezed. So our cost to borrow, standard cost to borrow, was sitting at 8.55. Our short interest or free float was 15.25. Our shares on loan was roughly 83 million, and our days to cover was at 0.36. That was the day that we squeezed. Everything is higher today. So if someone tells me, well, the stock's not going to squeeze, I can tell you it's not a matter of if it squeezes, it's now a matter of when it squeezes. And if we hop over here to Stonko tracker, gosh, not tractor, tracker. So if we take a look at this, Stonko tracker is really nice because we have the current calls in the money, which is 16,818. If we close this week on Friday above $10, we're putting another 11,502 in the money, which would be huge. The shares to borrow, 0. Big goose egg. Big goose egg. AMC shares to borrow, goose egg. ETF shares that are based off of an allocation, 11,220. So we have 352,000 ETF shares. So they are absolutely running out of ammo. And if we take a look down here at 8, currently at 6, this is 18, 16. So that would be 6:16 Eastern Standard Time. The the fee is 0% because A, there is no shares available. And now there's only ETF shares available. And there's only 11,220 shares available out of the allocation of 352,000, which is huge. This is telling me that they are just running out of bullets. And what eventually they're going to have to do is they're going to have to put their hands up and they're going to have to start covering because we essentially have them in a bull trap right now. You're out of short shares for AMC. Now you're running out of short ETFs. What's the next thing you're going to do? Are you just going to sit there and hold your position and hope that something goes wrong with AMC? They could possibly do that, but realistically, AMC just had their earnings. They have $1 billion in cash for this quarter, which is incredibly awesome for the company because they have not had that in a single quarter for the past 101 years of the company. That is huge. And then we have movies like Fast and Furious 9 and Top Gun coming out all in the summer. So this is only going to go up. So if they start covering, that's what we might be seeing here, honestly, in the after hours is we take a look at this one-day chart, we might be seeing a little bit of covering going on because that is a very quick move. So keep that in mind. But at 6:04, the cost to borrow was 73.2%. 73.2%. And I'm sure this is only today. Like this is today. Tomorrow, I'm sure it's only going to be higher. So Ortex says the standard cost to borrow is around 29.98. If you took something out at 6:04 Eastern Standard Time today and you wanted to short AMC, by the way, you only had 4,000 shares that were available to short for you. You had to pay 73.2% annually on those 4,000 shares. That is insane. That is absolutely huge. And that's incredibly risky for a short position to take. And what you're seeing is the shorts who are in the stock right now possibly have a lower cost to borrow. But anyone who's taking these positions right now is paying out of the yin yang for these short positions. So I will not be surprised if this continues to go on. And if we continue our movement in an upwards direction and the price goes up and up and up, we might just start seeing this fold and start snowballing really quickly because we have 16,818 contracts right now in the money at 10,000. My bad, not 10,000. At $10, we're going to put another 11,502 contracts in the money. So we're essentially going to we're going to essentially add about half, if not a little, like towards 3/4 of our in the money contracts to the snow. And then I'm sure if we go down here and take a look, oh, Stonko Tracker doesn't have it. What the heck? So the huge thing is 11,502 at $10. Let's actually hop over here in the Webull and take a look at the options chain. So 11,502. So actually Stonko Tracker is out of date. And then at $10.50, we have 5,000. And then at $11, we have 25,000 open interest contracts. That is huge. We got to $11. That would cause a lot of pain to the shorts. So like the further we can drive this price up, the more pain the shorts are going to feel, the more they're going to feel it on a daily basis. And the more that cost to borrow fee goes up, is just blows my mind. The more that this goes up, and the reason why that this goes up, it's based off of the shares that are available and also how risky it is for you to take that position. So we did move up 2.42% today, and then we had a huge bullish move in the after hours here. I'll actually leave Weeble up so we can take a look at what that is continuing to do. So tomorrow, the short rate borrow fee is only going to go up. It is not going to go down. It's only going to go up because there's less shares available, and we had a positive move for the day, which makes it a lot harder for shorts to have a position that will become profitable for them. So that's the reason why that short rate borrow fee is so high. But if you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to drop down a comment down below. Pretty much do my best to respond to every single question. Also, if you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure that you ring that bell. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.